Oh, okay. This is first of a kind, inspired by a very loyal and commenting viewer, Veen. So I hope you can hear me pretty good because I have found that I am better heard, clarity, and I tend to talk fast. And if you know my life history, you know that I have programmed myself to kind of talk in a low, quiet voice so that I'm not projecting, or I am projecting only to those who are meant to hear it, not to those beyond earshot. So it's a piece of defense mechanism that I've had to, adapt, because when you're a constant target, you do what you got to do. So, but my plan, she asked what was my plan, and that is really a loaded question. I'm assuming she's talking about orchids, but in order to explain that, I have to sort of explain the situation because I am in between two, well, not in between, I'm living in two places. I have a house here, and I'm spending the majority of my time at another place, so my orchids are in two places. The original plan, as everyone already probably knows, is when I moved here, because I come with a lot of luggage, as we all do, but the only baggage was my dog, my orchids, me. That was the only deal. So, and that included a greenhouse, the entire collection. So, my dog is not here. I don't have a greenhouse. Although, recently, there have been talks about space, even though, and I am referring to current situation where I'm at now, in this house, where I'm filming this, where my orchids were outside next to the drive, in the tree. They're out in this carriage house. Actually, they're outside now. And behind me, as you can see, is the little phalaenopsis on the porch right there, or there's others. The initial plan was to slowly move those that are in the carriage house out, because the plan was for those orchids, since there's a lot of mounts, cattleyas and cyclias. The original plan was to just leave my phalaenopsis, maybe my paths, and some other, my rodriguetias, other things that kind of need closer watching over, my Amaranthes. To keep those here, my phalaenopsis, and they do require different requirements as far as culture temperatures. Phalaenopsis do not want to be under 60. They just require different, just different conditions than the rest of the bunch. They're all different, in fact, but since I have so many phalaenopsis, I try to keep them all together. Phalaenopsis cannot have a rest or a lessening in the winter. They will continue as long as they're growing and receiving the temperature. So the plan is to keep the phalaenopsis with me. Well, the plan is to keep them all with me, but since I don't have a greenhouse, I have to put them in a spot where they will thrive, not damage the house, ease of excess, and walking up 2 stories. I wish I could show you the staircase. And folks, I have back and hip issues. I've been debating hip surgery, so I'm trying to keep from going up or downstairs because I'm just, I am a 65, baby. You can count. So, I have to consider all of that. There's a lot to consider when thinking about a greenhouse, where to put your orchids in the winter, unless you live in Madagascar or Florida or, what I'm trying to say. And I don't. I live in the Midwest where we are extremes. We are very cold in the winter with historically lots of snowdrifts and blizzards, 8-foot snowdrifts, wind effect, snow and winds, below zero temperatures, usually beginning a lot of times around Thanksgiving. Sometimes it can happen at Halloween. And that will last often. Our frost date, according to the Farmer's Almanac, is early April, although in recent years or decade, because of, I guess, global warming, I would say our winters have been very mild, although we are prone, as I believe everyone is, even Florida, to very early spring frost. And we generally have one of those ice storms in April, which, you just can't bring your plants out. So I need a greenhouse where I can house my orchids. I need to be at the greenhouse. So, and on the other hand, where my greenhouse is, you witness the frustrations. And I don't want to be like that, especially on film. But the plan is to move all of my orchids from here, except for the phalaenopsis on the porch, to the greenhouse. And I will begin to do that perhaps this week because, as I said, I'll put these in first and select ones at the other place where the greenhouse is, bearing in mind the situation with the infestation of bugs and plus trying to rehydrate them because, bear in mind, they have been in that office, hanging up there without fans, without circulation, for a few weeks. And you saw how horrible they look. But they will come back, but I have to get the scale off of those. And that will take time because there's a lot of those. And I would prefer if I could just get the scale off as I put them into the greenhouse because the point is you have to keep them separate. And now I have to assume that those are all infested. I just have to. And I have to go through the whole process of looking at them one by one, which I would do anyway when I put them back into the greenhouse. Now the ones that are here, that will delay me transporting them there. Although, as I have said many times with glee and delight, how well they have adapted to the summers here. The winters here are rough. Last year, they were down in the furnace room, as you know, and they just, the humidity and plus, the doldrums of winter, it's easy to go one more day, another day. And I've got vandas, and I've got lots of things that can't take that full-on furnace room without any sun, just grow lights, which is not the best. But the alternative is to put them down in the furnace room. Not the furnace room, but the laundry room, which is where I had some things last year. And I just thought of that. I'm just referring to the furnace room as last year's conditions, which I don't want to do again. It was good for watering them because it's a concrete floor with a drain. That's the only thing it was good for. It held them all in that room besides the other tender ones that I had in the laundry room. So my plan as of now, because of the fact that I talked about the stairwell and where my art room is, that's where I kept my phalaenopsis and other things. The majority of my orchids, really, besides the ones that were down in the boiler. Well, not the majority. Sorry. I digress. But It's the stair thing. It's the watering from carrying the water from the bathroom just across the hall. There's always a splash. Wood floors. I don't want the dripping, and even though there's orchids and art are not meant to be, as far as you can't paint in a greenhouse. Paint has to dry. Orchids need humidity. The air circulation will always be there. The fans, I always have fans going. That room tends to get a little bit on the hot side because of the sun, which is a good reason why it works for the orchids. But this year I'm really trying to concentrate on the rainwater situation. And if I get my rain barrel hooked up, which he says that it will be, because he got another rain barrel, surprisingly, after months of saying, what the hell do you want a rain barrel for? He put one back behind the carriage house, but mine is still right over there. But he says it's going to get hooked up over in this area, so I could put an extension somehow and get it in the basement so I could have rainwater. And those would be where I would keep everything that I'm having here. And as soon as the greenhouse over there gets done, I get my sink, my shelves, my potting bench all in, and all of the hanging racks. Then I will begin to transport my orchids that are out there in the carriage house. Those are going to the greenhouse. The only ones that are staying are the ones that are on the porch here, as I've said, just to refresh you if I talk in circles, which I do a lot. Just because I'm trying to get it all out quickly and concisely, but I say it a couple times in case you missed it the first time. So I'm not doing a bite-in today, even though that was just temporary gaffe. Anyway, I think that answered the question on the orchid front, I believe. I still get teased and dangled the idea of spots for greenhouses, whether it's over there, whether it's up on the second floor balcony, which is where I think it should be, or whether it's over here on the side of the house. It's like a carrot that is rotten to begin with. So that's what I feel like, because I could have bought my greenhouse the day I moved in here, but that was going on 2 years. And the winters, as you know, if you live in a cold area, unlike the tropical people, JP, Bean, you don't have to worry about that. But this is my plan, and it's very convoluted. I'm sorry, it's complicated because of the two, and I do not like talking like that. I just try to prepare you all because I don't want to stop a video just to tell somebody to be quiet. They should have the wherewithal and the visual capability, since it's a glass house, and since they hear me talking, to know to shut up or tiptoe or just go away. But I can't be too difficult and too hard, and because when you get up in age, like my mom, things begin to deteriorate. So I have to consider all of that, but that doesn't stop me from doing what I need to do. And my plan is that, as far as the channel is concerned, I really want to reach 3,000 subscribers. I would love that by the end of the year. That would be a great, great thing. I'm going to do my project update from years ago that I've been teasing for years. I'm going to get that out of the way, and I'm going to do another project plan, which will be something to look forward to, and I'll definitely stay more on top of it, I promise. I haven't figured out the specifics, but I will approach that sometime this year and see if there's an interest, but that's a plan. I plan to do more visits to other people's greenhouses and do more shows. I really was slacking in shows. I'm really planning to go to Tamiami this year and hang out with JP, and we'll see if that comes to fruition. Other than that, there's no plans coming up soon as far as orchid-wise. Yeah, that's about it for my channel, because this is just me sharing with you. I'm not really one of those guys that needs this to buy bark, or it's monetized, but I don't even look at it, and I don't even, beyond the point of the numbers, it would just be nice to have 3K. That's it. I'm not one of those. I'm not going to say, don't pass by my ads, because they're not my ads. I mean, if you don't want to look at it, I'm not going to force you to. It's your choice. And don't feel like you have to do anything to put coin in my pocket either, because my feeling is, if you need anything, any kind of product or whatever it is you need, if you can't afford it, then you can find out a way to get it. You can get a job. You can cut grass. You can sell your booty. I don't know. There's a lot of ways to do things without begging. But everybody's situation is different. So, but I still am of the mind of thinking that if you choose your hobby that is beyond your means, then don't buy Louis when you can't afford it. Anyway, that is not really part of the plan, but I am 100, and I love you, Veen. I hope I'm saying it right. And I'm doing this because I know you just sent me that question, and I wish I could pick up the phone and call you. But if I did, you would never get me off the phone. So I think that's all of the plan that I have. And for right now, I am going to look at my pretty new flower that I just got from Peter Lynn. And I'm not going to destroy it. I'll just let y'all see it and marinate on it. So anyway, thanks for watching. And enjoy your orchids. Bye.